Okay, so we're going to do the whole routine of the continental style, okay? Now, and we're going to cut. Index fingers are beautifully in place. Great. We're cutting that chicken breast or whatever you'd like. You only cut one piece at a time. We're finished cutting. Rest the wrist at the edge of the table. Lower that knife and pivot that into your mouth. Beautiful. Try not to go down. Just turn your head. Let's pivot again. Okay, great. Now, let's cut again. And we're cutting. Beautiful. Rest that wrist and pivot. Okay, great. Now let's get something soft on the back of the fork. It could be mashed potatoes, squash, whatever it is. If it's soft, scoop it onto the back of the fork. Not apply pressure yet. We're just scooping something soft. Rest that wrist and pivot. Beautiful. Now let's say we'd like to have some rice in the formal way. It is always proper to have the fork downward when dining in the continental style, including if you have to place rice on it, including rice. So how do we formally place rice on our fork? We will place the rice there and apply pressure. Turn that knife to apply pressure to get the rice grains between the tines. Let's do that again, please. Scoop it onto the fork and apply pressure. Then rest that wrist and pivot. Beautiful. Okay, let's get some more rice on that fork formally. Apply pressure. Get it between the tines. Good. And pivot. Great. Now, let's say we would like to have rice the informal way. You're home, relaxed, and you'd like to have more rice on your fork. How do you transition? This is the only time the fork will be placed upward when you're enjoying that portion in the informal way. Turn the fork upward, parallel to your body, and the knife between your body and the fork, and we'll push that rice onto the fork. Yes, rest that wrist and pivot. Good. Let's do that transition again. Place the fork downward. Okay. Then we're going to transition to the informal position. Turn the fork, not your hand, parallel to your body, and we're scooping on. Beautiful. Rest that wrist and pivot. Good. Now, what's the pause position in continental style? We call it the upside down V, always having the handles hanging off. You want to make sure the handles are hanging off to make it easier to retrieve. That's beautiful. Now, what is the finished position? You are doing an awesome job. That fork will accompany the knife in the 5 o'clock position, always making sure the fork is downward. Absolutely beautiful. Good job.